Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Srish, and before we get into this video, I just want to let you know that a much more detailed, in-depth tutorial about the basics of figure drawing is now live on my Patreon. You can grab the full 56-minute long tutorial, that's right, it's a whole hour long almost, for just $5, or the shorter version for just $3. Plus you get lifetime access to all of my other posts on there. So if you're interested in being a better artist or just taking up a new hobby that does wonders for your mental health, by the way, make sure you head on over to www.patreon.com/Srish, S-R-I-S-H. I'll also leave a link in the episode description. Support my work and grow your own hobby. It's as easy as clicking the Become a Patron button. Alright, now on to your regularly scheduled program. So today's video is going to be broken down into 3 parts. In the first part, we'll look at gesture drawing. Now, if you are not familiar with gesture drawing and what on earth it is, it's basically using simple lines, fluid lines, to capture the pose of a person or an animal or whatever. So here you can see me working with just a couple of references. And gesture isn't meant to be perfect. It's not meant to give you details on what the person is wearing or what they look like. It is just capturing the motion of, a character or an animal or whatever. And it can be as simple as complex as you want. It doesn't matter how crazy the pose is. It will always help you put together a form, a wireframe for a body. So when it comes to part 2, we're going to talk about some of the basic shapes you need to draw a human body. So the first is just simple ovals, and you can practice drawing surface lines on them, and also this inverted U. You will see where this is helpful in just a little bit. Just practice this shape from every angle. It's like a weird peace sign, I know. And then just some straight lines that go in like an inverted V for the collarbones. Okay, and now you want to try and practice this kind of bent over U shape, which I like to think of it as like a bee's bottom, just before where the stinger is. And this helps with drawing hips. Trust me, it seems a little crazy right now, but we are breaking down the human body into fundamental shapes, really tiny ones. So you can assume the hips are like a bee's bottom. That's a weird thing to say, isn't it? Again, practice drawing surface lines on each of these shapes because it will really help you visualize better when you're sketching. Then, of course, you need to know how to do circles, and this shape that I like to call a pointy horseshoe. It's like a U but with like dots and edges and stuff. So how do we put this together? I always like to start with a very light pencil just because it makes erasing easier, and you just start with an S shape for the spine. Now you're drawing the shoulder lines and the hip line. And if you want more details about, what these lines are and how you can use them, check out my dynamic figure drawing tutorial, which is on one of the cards up top right now. But anyway, we put the head on top, and the torso comes down from the shoulder line and the hips come down from the hip line, obviously. And that pointy horseshoe is a great shape for the jaw as well as for the hips, as you will see in a little bit. So let's start by drawing a slightly detailed human figure. Now, I wanted to have this be just a regular male body, but I don't know how to draw men because I don't like to draw men. I mean, that sounds horrible, but it's just not as interesting to me as drawing women. So this is not the perfect man, but it's just an example to show you how we can now go in once we have the basic shapes in place. We can go in with a darker pencil, this is a HB, and add in the little details. And I keep forgetting that men don't have like curvy hips and stuff. So let's just call it a gender fluid person. But to turn this female, you want it to be shorter, wider hips, a narrower waist, smaller shoulders, and smaller trap muscles. So we're gonna start with the same exact basic shape, except This time we're going to make sure that the lower end of that torso is narrower, just to accentuate that waist. And this is really where the B bottom shines. I never thought I'd say that sentence. Anyway, so drawing a softer jaw and softer shoulders, which are slightly more rounded rather than square. The breasts lie like halfway down the torso, and it might initially feel like they're way too low and they're going to be saggy, but they're really not, like, trust me. The belly button lies just under where the torso ends, and you can indicate the inverted U, which is the front of the rib cage. And then you can go in with a darker pencil once you like the pose and you know how all the elements are working together, and you can really add those details in. So again, we're going to accentuate the narrow hips by pulling out the narrow waist, by pulling out the hips a little, and you can have this woman as curvy or as athletic as you like. It's entirely up to you, and I love drawing women. So for the rest of this video, we're gonna draw women. Yeah. So you're gonna start with a gesture line. So this is the point where we put gesture and form together. Okay. Start with any gesture line. Drawing your shoulder and hip lines, and just like we did in the last two examples, we're basically doing the same thing over and over again because repetition is the best teacher ever. So you start with just an egg shape for the torso. And again, make sure you check out my dynamic figure drawing tutorial because it will tell you why we have the shoulders and the hips going in like opposite directions and stuff. You can also, if you like just to get you used to thinking in 3D, add in a mirror line to your gesture line, as you'll just see me do with red pen. And this helps you sort of visualize better. So if your initial gesture line is the spine, or the movement of the spine, your new balance line helps you figure out how far forward and how far back the human body goes. So here it's helping me gauge where the center of the rib cage would lie. I think it's just better if you watch the video. Like, I can't explain this in words well enough, but like, I hope you get the idea. So it's just like a direct mirror of the gesture line, but it helps you find the sort of, you know, in 3 dimensions, you have the X, Y, and Z axis. So this is the Z axis, which tells you how far forward and how far back the edges of the body go. So again, we're gonna start drawing in those collarbones and the head, and now we can start adding actual form to this figure. And the reason I call that red line the balance line is because it helps you balance out where all the masses go. Because at any point, if there is a slight imbalance in the spine or in, you know, where you place the masses, your person is going to fall over. It's just how gravity works. So make sure everything is balanced and make sure you're using as many guidelines as you need to. So let's take this and do like a really crazy gesture, okay? Like almost sideways. And if it helps, you can draw like a center mirror line to help you figure out where your balance line would go and where your gesture line would go. And yeah, just basically eyeball it. At this point, I was just having fun, clearly, because I don't know how to draw guns. I don't know why I gave her guns, but I feel like nothing else would fit this pose. So she's like flying midair, like Jackie Chan style, except with guns. I don't know how to draw guns because I don't come from a crazy country where people collect guns for sport, so I wouldn't know. So yeah, I'm just doing the same exact thing. And honestly, the key is to practice. The more you observe people and the more you start seeing gesture as opposed to just like parts of the body, the more alive your characters will start to look. So you can take this and make it as simple or as complex as you want. Here you can see I used like 4 different gesture lines. And this also helps you make sure that your limbs, as in the limbs of your character, flow nicely with the spine, because it's really awkward when you draw someone who's got a really flowy spine and then their arms are sticking out at weird angles, like, you know, the legs of the turkey in cartoons. Yeah, it just looks really weird. And please be completely okay with erasing and redoing. That's the main reason we are using a lighter pencil first. So as you can see, I made a mistake, but that's okay. Mistakes are not failure. Mistakes are just things that you can correct. So here again, I gave her a really strange pose, just to show you how far you can really push gesture drawing and how you can take that, take crazy gestures and put them into realistic forms. And that's pretty much all I have to say about figure drawing, really. That's a good summary. It's not the be-all and end-all. This is by no means an exhaustive tutorial. But if you do want a slightly more exhaustive set of tutorials, then make sure you check out the link in my bio, in my episode description, and click that Become a Patron button, and you can get instant access to all of these figure drawing tutorials as they come out, and the ones that came out yesterday as well, where I talk more in detail about proportions. You can also grab some worksheets and draw along with me, and you can also get access to some live tutorials. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to leave me a thumbs up so I know you'd like to see more of these. Hit that big red subscribe button, and before you go, leave me a comment telling me what you'd like to see in terms of tutorials or content or stuff that you want me to try out for you, things like that. Feel free to leave me a comment below and I will make it happen. And I will see you next week. Bye.